I'm gonna kick it off. Is that okay? Can I kick it off? Okay, okay. Tip the bartenders. What does Drew always say? Drew. What would Drew always say? It was like tip the bartenders, someone else. He always has it wrong. He does. He's got that mustache. Okay, I'm Will Foxley. Thank you for joining us for Keeping Up with Bitcoin. Apologies on the time being wrong. That's my fault, miscommunication. But we are here and we have drinks, courtesy of PubKey. And to everyone watching on the live stream, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin topics from the last month. So it is, what's today, like the 20-something? 19th? We're almost at 20s? Time is, yeah. Yeah, somewhere else in the world. I have an excuse. I was in Hong Kong last week for Consensus, and so everything is upside down for me still. But we're just going to go through like 10 headlines I selected from the last month, and then I want to like open up to the crowd just for commentary and just kind of make this more of a discussion basis. This is our first one, so thank you, Michael, for making this possible. Appreciate it. We're going to kick it off with our first one. If I can understand how the slides work on this thing. Nakamoto to acquire Bitcoin Magazine, hedge fund, UTXO management, and all-stock deal. You guys all saw this one, I'm assuming? No? A few people didn't see? Okay. Yeah, so the mechanics of it, I'll go through it really quickly, is just that Nakamoto holding company, they merged with another publicly listed company called Kindly MD, which was like a medical company of some sort. They merged over the summer. That took a little bit of time, and then they used a bunch of capital financing to purchase Bitcoin at the top at around 125K per coin. So that was really, really tough for the team. They also did like a lot of Wall Street stuff to raise that money. So they did a private investment in public equity, so a PIPE deal. So people were able to get in through this PIPE deal at a different share price than the public market. And then they also did convertible note, which is call up Wall Street, basically get cash, and then you have like some mechanics to either dilute or pay back debt, depending on like how it all shakes out in the future. That put the Nakamoto team in a really hard place as Bitcoin started plunging and corrected 50% off the high because they literally bought the top in this market. Meanwhile, on the back end, like the promise of this entire holding company was to purchase Bitcoin Magazine, obviously the largest media brand in Bitcoin specifically, not in the entire space, but in Bitcoin specifically, and then the Bitcoin conference. And lastly, UTXO Management, which is one of the most successful hedge funds in Bitcoin. I think all in, they had over 100 million in revenue between all those entities for 2025. So a lot of potential there. Once inside the holding company, it'd be like one of those first Bitcoin-specific companies to be public. We had the news that they went public, or they closed the deal, had the announcement for the purchase, and like all hell broke loose on Twitter. So did you guys watch that on Twitter at all? A little bit? Yeah, it's been crazy. The Roxham team has. Yeah, yeah. So that's been pretty wild to watch. I think some reflections on it. So the deal essentially actually favored the Naka shareholders versus BTC Inc. So BTC Inc. was like the holding company for Bitcoin Magazine, Bitcoin Conference, and UTXO. Kind of held all those in one. And there was obviously like a history of a lot of shareholders in those three private companies. They actually kind of took a wash on this, and the value of Bitcoin Magazine was probably 3 times higher, given like the conference revenue and then the website revenue. And then UTXO also is just worth a lot. And so Naka shareholders made out a lot on this versus like what the actual deal mechanics came out to. Part of that was because the share price of Naka dropped so much. It's down 99% since its all-time high. And then since the deal closed, it's down about 70%. The deal was struck at around $1.12 between Naka and then all these Bitcoin Inc. companies. And now the share price for Naka is like around 30 cents. So if you do the math there, Naka shareholders actually made out really, really well. But that's not how it's being spun on Twitter. Everyone's saying that Naka shareholders got fleeced again because there was a dilution event. So I'll pause there. Like I think this one, to me, was just like another instance of Twitter getting ahead of itself, not really understanding the mechanics of a deal like this, and just letting like the rage bait spiral out of control. But did anyone have any thoughts on this headline, or did it interest you at all? Does it make you want to go to Vegas? Do you not want to go to the Bitcoin conference? How are you guys thinking about it? The microphone is there if you guys want to grab in for the live stream.
Conference. Yeah. Conference has been my main thought on it. I haven't really had a strong opinion, but I'm really interested to see what the conversations in Vegas are going to be. Is it going to be the same discourse? I think it goes back to the conversation of how brazen do people get online? Is it really going to affect anything IRL at the conference? And what's the attitude going to be in April? The conference is crazy. It's like, what, 8 weeks around the corner? 9 weeks? Last week of April? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really close here. And I do wonder, like, long term, if a lot of Bitcoiners, or especially retail Bitcoiners, purchase Naka, or if they did, if they're just going to like boycott the conference because the share price is suffering so much, or they like took a bath on it. I hope that doesn't happen because that seems like very disconnected, but that's the difficulty when you combine like public markets and media. People can kind of get like the two things mixed up together. But no takers on that one. Okay, we'll keep moving to the next story then. I find that story really interesting to me. I don't know. It's really crazy.
I mean, the only thing is, like, isn't Bailey just buying his own company with shares that he's diluted himself? Like, am I wrong in saying that? Like, Bitcoin Magazine is Bailey's company and Naka is Bailey's company, and he's just, using one to buy another, and I don't know, he's probably going to come out looking pretty good.
So I think there was a lot of private shareholders in BTC Inc., including the like Evans family, which Tyler Evans is a co-founder. David Bailey was on a Spaces with like Mike Alfred, who's been here and done stuff at PubKey, and mentioned that David Bailey paid $11 million out of pocket to BTC Inc. private shareholders to get the deal across the line, because I guess BTC Inc. shareholders were so unhappy about the deal, and that's why it took so long. So I think there's more to it than just like money going from David Bailey's right pocket to his left one. I think there's more to it, but there is like some element of that, right, where it's like he was the chairman and owner of all these companies and the co-founder of them, and he's also the co-founder and chairman of Naka. So there's that. Okay, I'll move to this next one. This one's actually from this week, the 18th, so yesterday, because it's the 19th today. I found out this evening. Starboard Value projects $52 share price for Riot Platforms and AI pivot. The story here is just like the continued push for Bitcoin miners going into AI. It's been around for a while. Like, I think most people here at PubKey who are into Bitcoin mining will probably know about that AI transition story. I think the thing to watch here now is the activist investors who are smelling blood in the water, or dollars in the water is probably the better way to put it. The blood in the water could really be the executives that have had these seats at these Bitcoin mining companies for a while, and they're in a nice seat prior. You're making a lot of money, you could dilute your investors, and you just kind of make these huge cathedrals in the desert for Bitcoin mining. But now you're in the hot seat where these activist investors are huge, tons of capital. They're coming into you when you're a $4 billion, a $3 billion market cap company. They're purchasing 10, 15% of your float, and then they're immediately putting pressure on you to start delivering AI deals. They're going to start pushing new board members. They're going to start pushing out old team members. They're going to push you to close a deal, close the best deal. So along with this one with Starboard this week and Riot, we saw one with Core Scientific and 2Cs this morning. So 2Cs is an activist investor in Core Scientific. Core Scientific was one of the largest Bitcoin miners on Earth at one point. Not so much now. They're still pretty large, around 10 exahash, which is like less than 1% of the network, but so pretty small, but around 1% of the network. 2Cs is now pushing the entire Core Scientific team to close deals faster as well, and they've pushed 3 board members onto the Core Scientific board. So this story, I think, to me, is like that next evolution where it's not just, hey, like Bitcoin miners becoming AI. It's these Bitcoin mining companies are being kind of ripped apart from the inside out because there's new shareholders coming in, and they're going to demand that you close AI deals instead of Bitcoin mining deals. So I do think in 12 to 18 months we see a very different landscape for Bitcoin mining companies. I can talk more in this one. Any interest in picking up commentary, questions?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember the company Iron came to talk here one time, and they Yeah, I still have the hat. Yeah, I still have it. But they totally pulled out of Bitcoin, right? They're not even doing it at all anymore. But yeah, I guess with the price this year, we'll see where it goes. I'm assuming it's gonna get kind of ugly for some of these companies, and there's definitely gonna be a push for it. So.
Yeah, they're still mining Bitcoin right now, but it's not something they're even like willing to talk about anymore, which is kind of interesting. So